Hi Flosstube, this is Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter, coming to you not live from Salt Lake City. I've been watching a little too much TV. Anyway, welcome. If you're new here, I hope you stick around. If you're a repeat offender, return visitor, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna jump right in with life updatey goodness. Remember last week I talked about going to Christmas parties and like white elephant gifts and stuff. So last Monday afternoon we went to my husband's little work Christmas party, and there was a white elephant gift exchange there. We stopped by Walmart on the way there and got like a reindeer antler headband and one of those like Christmas light necklaces that flash lights and stuff. So just a little bit of Christmassy fun. And that was our white elephant gift that we brought. The gift that we received was a doozy. It's about this big. I can't show it because my husband has it at work, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But this picture I'm about to show does not and cannot ever possibly do justice to how awful and just what this gift is. But here we go. It's a giant wooden cow head with a lip ring and a cheek ring and like a nose ring that hooks up to its earring. The story behind this was there was a dress code at my husband's work, and all of these things were not allowed. And so one of the people who worked there made this and gave it as a white elephant gift, and this was a few years back, and it's just kind of made the rounds. Oh, and he's got its little safety goggles on, because safety first. They work in a lab. So this year my husband got it. And remember, this thing it's really big. And it's just hideous. Oh, and it's got like a 5 o'clock shadow because they were supposed to be neatly shaved, and the dress code has changed since then. All these things are not allowed. But yeah. The nice thing is, they have 2 Christmas parties with white elephant gift exchanges, and they're exactly the same. They're just, one is one week and then the next is the next week, because the work schedule for my husband's workplace is they work 7 days and then they're off 7 days. So there's the party for the ones who work this week and then the party for the ones who work the next week. So we went on the week that Jeff doesn't work. He brought me and we made it into a little date kind of thing. And so he's going to the second one today. And guess what he is giving as the white elephant gift? This ridiculous cow. And everyone who was at last week's gift exchange will know what that's what it is, because it will be in a big flat box. But some poor unsuspecting victim will receive this as their white elephant gift today and won't be able to do anything about it until next year. So yeah, that was quite the experience. Also in the box there was like a when he received this gift, there was a mug, and it had like some coffee and tea, little bags, like a little gift thing. We don't drink coffee and tea, so Jeff gave the mug to somebody else. But yeah, I think that wins the prize for the just most white elephant gift ever. Anyway, let's see what else. It was my husband's birthday on Friday. He was able to get that day off. Somebody else wanted to trade him a day at work, and so he was able to have that day off from work. We didn't end up going anywhere or doing anything. He wasn't feeling well, but I got him those like heated massage cushions that you can put in your car, because he leaves for work at like 4:30 in the morning, and especially here in the winter, it gets really chilly, and so that will help keep him toasty warm as he goes to work. And the massage thing is nice because he works a lot on his feet, and so on the way home he can have that going, and just by the time he gets home he'll have all the tension worked out and just feel great. So he was really excited about that gift. The kids were really excited. We plugged it in on we just had it sitting on the couch, and the kids were taking turns sitting on it. My little 2-year-old loved it. He was just, that thing is bigger than he is, and he was sitting on it just, this is so fun. Let's see, what else? Yesterday I went to a music festival. It's a lot less wow than it sounds. Every year in our community, there's a little music festival where different choirs and families can come and sing. And it's not like super professional. It's just people having fun and sharing in the Christmas spirit. And I haven't always enjoyed the fact that I have to go to this, because I do have to go because our church choir sings every year, and I'm the pianist for the choir. So without me, they can't perform. And so sometimes I've kind of resented the fact that I have to go every year. But this year, I think I just went in with a different attitude, and I ended up having a really good time. It was a lot of fun. And I did record some of the music. Again, this is just people coming together and having fun together, so it's not professional in any way. And I live in an area with a lot of Tongans, and so we had a lot of Tongan music, and there was they call it a string band, and they play the Tongan music like on the islands and stuff. They play, and you just feel like you're sitting out on the beach, and there's like a bonfire, and you're just looking out at the water. And yeah, it made me homesick for Tonga, and I'm not even Tongan, and I've never been, but yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So I recorded some of the music, and if I can figure out how, I was recording with my phone, but if I can figure out how, I'll somehow at the end of this video put some of that music there, so if you want, you can listen to it. And there were refreshments there. When he announced it, the guy who puts it all together, he was like, and we will have light, heavy duty refreshment. And I'm talking about heavy duty. So yeah, a lot of Tongan goodies. There was keke, which is kind of like a Tongan donut. It's balls of dough that have been deep fried, and it's like 3 times the size of a donut hole. And it's Tongans. Their desserts aren't like super sweet. They're mildly sweet. But yeah, really good. And there was puteni, which is a kind of again, a very mildly sweet cake, and it's got custard spooned over it. And there was Hawaiian pie, which is actually cake, again, lightly sweet, and it's topped with a coconut and pineapple custard and whipped cream. And they had this drink. Last time I talked about the banana drink that they had. The drink they had last night, I've never had anything like it. Like, it was coconut milk and shredded coconut and dumplings, like, in the drink. Like, dumplings. And it was heated, you know, nice and steaming. And so I was like drinking it on the way home, and then when I got home I had to get out a spoon to eat the dumplings. Just very Tongan. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I went. So let's jump into some cross stitch, shall we? I have been putting in a little bit of work here and there on this ornament kit that I got from Joann's. This is my first time working with metallic floss, and this is what I've got so far. The metallic is here in this white part. It's white floss blended with metallic floss. And I've heard all kinds of horror stories about working with metallics, and it wasn't exactly like I thought it would be, but it was also not easy. It's true what people say, it's hard to work with metallics. Plain and simple. It got tangled a lot more easily, and like the metallic frays, not like at the end like I was picturing, but where it's attached to the needle, it kind of frays a bit. And so yeah, it's just not super easy to work with, but I do enjoy the effect that it gives. It's a little bit sparkly, so it's still a workout working on this piece. The canvas holes are really small, and it's kind of hard on my fingers because I'm having to yank the needle through. So that's why I'm not finished with it yet. This much stitching I could have had done in a week, but it's not easy stitching. So I'm still hoping to get that done in time to put it on the tree this year. We'll see what happens. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's my progress on the ornament. This week I also worked on Wild Lily's Flourish, and this one. So last time I showed it, I had put in the green on this plant, and then this past week, I added the flowers. So that great big potted plant is completely finished. Okay, this is the whole piece so far. So that's a lot of fun. I also worked on my bird sampler by Brenda Keys. Oh, Wild Lily's Flourish. That one is my own design. It's available on my Etsy shop, linked below. So yeah, and I'm stitching it on 18 count vintage country mocha. Yes. Okay. So this is the bird sampler by Brenda Keys, and I am working out of this Brenda Keys Traditional Samplers book. Love it. love this pattern. It is just beautiful. And here is my progress. So what I've done since last week, since last time I showed this, the tail on this bird was incorrect, and I went ahead and just picked it out and put it in correctly. I believe I brought some, I brought up the leaves, so these leaves weren't there yet, so I put in those. I added this bird here, and then, as you can see, I added all of this vine. So the vine portion of the sampler, the border, is completely finished. There were a couple mistakes that I made over here that I discovered too late to pick out, and so I had to replicate them over here. So that was right here and right here. But I made note of it on the pattern, and I was careful to replicate them so it will still be symmetrical on either side. So yeah, the border on this side is completely done all the way up to here. So all of that is complete. And I just love how it looks. It's just beautiful. Okay. And the other piece that I worked on this week, once again, I did not bring the paper for it. Hang on. Before I move on, 32 count lambswool Jobelan, all the called for colors for the bird sampler. Okay, now moving on. This one is my Saxon band samplers. Saxon Transylvania band sampler, Ye Old band sampler, stitching them side by side. This one is also my designs. They are both available in my Etsy shop. I am stitching them on 25 count white Lugana 1/1. The patterns are designed all in one color. I did that purposely so that when you stitch it up, you can either do it all in one color, which would be striking and gorgeous. You can mix it up and do, you can do whatever color you want. You can do whatever combination of colors you want. It's kind of like a long dog sampler in that way, in that, you can do it as charted, which in the case of these is black floss on white fabric, or you can just do whatever you want. Clearly I am not stitching in black floss. This is all DMC so far. I'm using solid color as the main color, and then a whole bunch of variegated. So what I did this week, I added this bird and this plant, and then added some more of these flowers. So I'm doing it, with this part I'm alternating variegated red, so that will be alternating all the way through, and I just brought this line across until I ran out of floss right about there. So that was this piece that I worked on. And that is all the cross-stitching that I've done this week. Also this week, I worked on the hats that I am knitting for, or was knitting, I'm done now, knitting for my brother and his wife and their little baby. This is going to be Christmas gifts. I decided I am going to go ahead and just and send these to them. I made a mistake. They're not in Arizona. They are in Texas. And actually it does get a little bit chilly there sometimes. And they also visit Idaho and stuff where it's really cold. They'll actually be there for Christmas. Anyway, so I showed this one that was already done. This is the hat that I made for my sister-in-law with gray sparkly yarn. I finished this hat for my brother with this brown yarn. I keep wanting to call it floss, but it's yarn. And then I did this in one day. This is for their little baby. He's like 8 months old, I think. And in the pattern it says to knit for like 7 inches or something before starting to work on bringing it in towards the crown. And I was wondering as I was stitching these, how come putting them, like trying it on my own head, they turned out so much longer than other hats that I've made using the exact same pattern. And I realized it is because this tape measure I've been using, it came with my knitting needles. It is severely incorrect. 1 inch on this tape measure is like 1¼ inches. So I was using this completely incorrect tape measure, like made in China or something, where they don't do inches. Yep, made in China. And so, yeah, naturally the hats turned out way longer than they were supposed to. Thankfully, they have a brim that I was able to fold up, and that makes them fit properly. So it all worked out, but I will no longer be using this ridiculous tape measure because it's useless. Anyway, okay, so that was all the crafty goodness that I did this week. Before I move on to my next little segment, I wanted to talk about my fabric here. It's sloths. Isn't that cute? This is just some fleece that I picked up from Joann's, and right now it's just a big piece of fabric, but eventually I'm going to finish off the edges in some way and turn it into a blanket, which I will love and cherish for the rest of my days because sloths. I love sloths, and it's just so cute. So I did have a little bit of an announcement. Several weeks ago, I held my birthday giveaway, and if you remember, I was giving away this pattern, autumn salt boxes, fully kitted with the fabric and the floss. The winner of that was Kristen Ann, and I still have not heard from. I haven't heard from you, Kristen. I'm going to give it until my next video, and if I haven't heard from Kristen Ann by then, I will be drawing a new winner because this is just sitting around in my house with nobody to stitch it and love it, and I want it to, well, it was my birthday giveaway. I want to give it away. So, yeah, if anybody knows Kristen Ann, or, you know, Kristen Ann, if you see that, this, I commented on her original comment on my giveaway video. So please, Kristen Ann, get in touch with me. Send me your address so that I can get this out to you. If not, I will be choosing a new winner. Okay, moving on to new stuff. I got some new stuff today. Actually, one of it is not new at all. It's actually pretty old. Cheryl McKinney, Tranquil Stitches, was, I think, like decluttering some of her patterns or something, destashing, and this was one that she was giving away, rehoming. It is called Preserving Stitches by Janice Shirley, and it is copyright 1979. I love old patterns. This is fun. So what it is it's actual recipes that are cross-stitched with like pictures of the produce that it's preserving. So there's apple rings, pear honey, copper pennies, which is carrots, pepper jelly, sweet dills, beet relish, spiced peaches, and orange jelly. Isn't that so much fun? So, obviously, I won this, and I was so excited. And so that arrived this week, along with one of Cheryl's beautiful project bags. It's got this lovely floral fabric on the back, and this really pink inner fabric, and one of her famous zipper finders. It's a finder, not a pull. Don't go yanking on it. As she always says in her videos. Guys, this is the first project bag that I have that I didn't make myself. And it is just beautiful. I love it. It's my first clear front bag too. So I've been keeping this in here until I showed it and can start stitching on that. So naturally, receiving that beautiful pattern book full of patterns that I have to stitch like yesterday because they're so gorgeous, I had to go on to 1-2-3 Stitch and get fabric on which to stitch them. So I got this 32 count linen. It's called Beautiful Beige, and I got a really big piece of it. I'm not stitching them all together on one piece. What I am going to do, I wanted them to match each other, so I'm going to stitch, I'm going to cut this piece up and stitch them all separately, but they're all going to be on this same fabric that I'll just cut up. And then, I don't know, probably frame and display similar to how it shows here. So yeah, 32 count beautiful beige linen. And I'm thinking about kind of dirtying this up a little bit because these are old recipes. And you know how like old recipe cards, they get grungy. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm probably going to grunge this up a little bit just for fun. While I was on 1-2-3 Stitch, I've been picking up 36 count linens here and there because of the Songbirds Garden series from Cottage Garden Samplings. I really hope that's right. Because those are stitched on 36 count. I'm not stitching them on like the called for colors. I'm just kind of picking up what I think is pretty, and I'll stitch whatever ones I want on whatever fabric I want. So I got this smallish piece, 13 by 17, so not tiny. This is Tyco Edinburgh linen. So that right there. It's got just a little bit of mottling. It's very subtle, just really pretty neutrally type fabric. Just like a little tiny bit of like blues or greens or something in with the yellow. It's really subtle but very pretty. So when I went to pick up my order at 1-2-3 Stitch, they have a shelf of like freebie patterns and other little freebies. So I flipped through and just picked up Apple Pickin' by Little House Needleworks and So Many Stitches by Suhillis Designs. So those are really cute. And there was a little freebie bin, so I went ahead and looked through there, and I got this floss. Let me hold it up on this Tyco Edinburgh linen. I don't think it's variegated. It looks pretty solid. If it is variegated, it's very, very subtle, but it's just this really pretty dark kind of foresty green color. And I'm pretty sure it was on freebies because it is not labeled. It came just like this. There's no tag, no nothing to show what it is. So it's just pretty green floss. I think it's cotton. I'm not experienced enough telling different fibers apart, but I think it's cotton. And then there was this. This is, where does it say? Rainbow Gallery Splendor. It's 12 ply silk and it's just a very basic black. And this was also in the freebie box. So just a couple free patterns and free flosses. I like 1, 2, 3 stitch. All right. Let me check my thing just to make sure that I got everything. Yeah. That is everything I have. So I may or may not film next week because next Monday is the day before Christmas. So I don't know if I will film an update next week. The week after that is New Year's Eve. Keep your eyes peeled, because I don't know when my next update will be. I might just keep doing it. You know, I might do it Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I might not. We'll see. Until I see you again, have a wonderful week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long it is, and happy stitching. Bye.
Darling, look at me. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round your virgin mother and child. Holy is so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Thank you. That's enough.